Maybe I'm taking it a little bit further, and I'll tell you why. Thanks, Valen. So, as the world observed Mental Health Day this week, the international community reflected on how much more needs to be done to create awareness. According to the World Health Organization, depression affects people of all ages, from all walks of life, in all countries. So, 27-year-old entrepreneur and owner of famous sock brand Skinny Sbu Socks-Sibusiso Ngwenya knows all about going through a rough patch and feeling despondent as trying to run a viable business proved to come with some ups and downs. Well, he joins us now in studio this morning to talk a little bit more about it, and also to provide me with a pair of happy Sbu socks, my skinny socks, which women don't really do this, do they?
Women with style take risks,
and
you just did that this morning.
Although there was an argument as to how wild I should go with the socks. I should have probably gone for the pink, like Sakina said.
But I think you went for the best one. Most people call this pair the Gucci Hilfiger.
Oh,
because it's inspired by Hilfiger and Gucci and stuff.
Oh, really?
So those two red and blue colors.
So there you go, my Gucci Hilfiger
Skinny Sbu
socks. What can you do? Look at me. Never done an interview with my feet on the table, but this could be the best.
There's a first time for everything.
Shall we do it? Put your feet on the table. Let's do this. Okay.
My God.
So talk to me about this business of yours and how it sort of evolved, how you started it. Let's start at the beginning.
Well, my name is Sbu Ngwenya. I'm a 27-year-old entrepreneur from the east of Johannesburg. It's Akane. It's a small township. And really the only way out there is if you sell cigarettes at the corner, or you're a cashier, or you go steal. So I'm really a one in a million. I started the business 5 years ago. My mom gave me money to go spoil myself, which is $70 at McDonald's. And I took that money, bought 15 pairs of socks, I think for R5 each, repackaged them, and started selling them for 25 rands. And the story was blasted on CNN, and everybody throughout the country started talking about this tall, skinny guy who's selling socks.
This tall, skinny guy selling skinny socks. But you make it sound like it's easy. Like, well, that's great. Let's just make socks and sell them. You went through some tough times, though.
Well, it was easy, you know. I think it's called grace, you know, or when you're starting out, that luck that you have, you know. But for you to stay longer in business, you need to focus on the business end of the business. Meaning, how do you now start keeping the staff? How do you start growing the business so that it is profitable?
Yeah.
We've been in the business for the past 5 years, and the biggest challenge even today has been distribution, you know, which is something we are fixing and working on. 2 years into the business, I signed a contract with Starter Forts, which was big then at the time before they closed down. And unfortunately, they had to close down, which impacted the business greatly because I was taking care of the marketing and the distribution and supplying them with product. I was young, I was 23 years old. I signed a contract out of excitement. And at the end of it, I was in debt of something like 800,000.
Wow.
You know. So
that's a tough amount to go to bed and put your head on a pillow.
For a 23-year-old, you know.
That's a very tough one. You actually got some people worried, I mean, on social media when you were speaking about it and saying that you needed to sort of sell your car to save the business, to sort of, you know, recoup this money. And I think people got exceptionally worried about you.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to appreciate you and the entire Morning Live team for being the first people to reach out to me, you know. I think mental health is something that is very taboo, especially in the environment that I grew up in, that the picture that I painted you.
Yeah.
The pressure mounts even more when you are the face of young African startups. I mean, I've been everywhere, on Forbes, on CNN, every publication you can imagine. I'm seen as this shining star who's doing exceptionally well, and I have to go back home to paying salaries, and the business was just not doing well. I had to go on the side, and I do a lot of public speaking and a lot of appearances, so I have to take that money and now start feeding the business to make sure that it's alive. Yeah. And a couple of weeks back, what got the country worried and shocked was a tweet that I put up, and basically I was just being honest. Leanne, I was tired of putting up this face of saying I have it all.
Yeah.
I am tired as a young man to keep quiet about my problems, you know, and especially because I'm seen as popular, I have to be a hero. But in a way, it started a conversation, a national conversation around mental health, a national conversation among men dealing with depression, entrepreneurs particularly,
Absolutely.
who are seen as, when you're an entrepreneur, you're the father of the family, which is the business. So you have to provide. You don't have to complain. So I was just I had enough.
Yeah, and it's like that because, you know, one thing that I know about women is we do talk a lot. So we talk to each other, we'll maybe speak a little bit too much about what we're going through, how we're feeling, and perhaps getting it out. But as men, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but you guys always have to appear that, you know, I've got everything, I can't break down, I can't cry, I can't show that there are problems, but there are problems, and you bottle this up inside more and more and more, and the adverse effect far outweighs being seen as a hero. And I'm glad you did that, because I think that you may have been a role model to a lot of people that are going through what you're going through.
Funny enough, there's been a lot of people who said, Sbu, you're seen as the face of this new emerging African startup community that's coming out of Africa. You shouldn't have done that. You know?
Never.
I received a lot of criticism. Hence, I went silent and switched off my phone, and I said, I don't want to partake in this conversation because a lot of people don't understand what I'm dealing with. You know, you're talking about the differences between women and men. I look at how my late grandmother would come in. Anybody who comes in, she'll complain about Sbu and this and that. That's therapeutic. It's not deliberate, but talking about something, whatever you're doing, but lashing out and taking it out is therapeutic. Hence, women are able to deal with it. Women have created an environment for themselves where it's not judgmental, and you can come out and say, I have financial problems, I have family problems. Whereas as men, it's a totally different opposite one. There's been people who've been encouraging me, who've been giving me calls and saying I should continue with the conversation. I know very well, Leanne, that I'm not doing this thing for me. You cannot have all of this and use it for your own selfish acts. This is for a greater purpose. There is a reason why 27-year-old me has a sock brand that is distributed nationally at Markham stores. It's because I can handle it. It's because I do what I'm doing for Sbu Ngwenya, who is in a 3-room shack somewhere in Tsakane, and who mental health is something that's not spoken about in his community. And for someone like me who's seen to have it all, to come out and say, I am not happy, I'm not satisfied, I think it will start something new in the country.
I think so too. And it'll also start a new conversation. There's a conversation of, and something Sakina and myself were speaking about. One of her guests yesterday was wearing a pair of your socks, and it kind of makes me happy looking at your socks. And it makes me happy wearing these socks, because there's just the fun, light-hearted side of this is perhaps what we need to do. You know, maybe when you're having a bad day and you kind of look at your socks and say, okay, there's the brightness, there's the color, there's the happiness. Let's just breathe in and breathe out and say, we're going to be okay. Is there kind of a link in these fun, funky designs that are not necessarily meant to be suiting our clothes to bring about a little bit of peace and happiness in and amongst the darkness and depression? Yeah,
there is a psychological proof, you know, that color and shapes and design has a psychological effect on people. You know, the color red, the color pink, the color yellow makes people happy, which is why on Fridays you are usually wearing those colors.
Well, I'm now wearing red, navy, and white. I don't know what that means, but it's fine. You had a pair of socks that matches.
But color has that therapeutic effect when it comes to people and dealing with our emotions. You know, and currently we are working on the Skinny Sbu Socks red collection. Red for me is a color that simply says I am strong. That has a lot to do with wanting attention, because it's about time we bring about attention, and I've been contacted by a number of very prominent South African men, the likes of Bob Mabena, Casper Nyovest, who hopefully will be part of this campaign.
That is amazing.
And help us make noise and bring a spotlight into men's mental health.
Fantastic. You keep doing what you're doing. They are absolutely fantastic. So Markham stores, Nationwide, you can
Malcolm
buy.
stores nationwide. We started our contract beginning of the year.
Excellent.
It was supposed to be a 5-month trial run. A month and a half in, they called us. They said we're doing well.
And
so
we need more.
we're a year in right now. We just added 10 stores. And Leanne, I won't waste this opportunity by not asking South Africans to go out there and help me. But also,
Good.
I'm looking for someone who has an eagle eye vision, who understands that I'm building Africa's first Tom Ford,
Yeah.
Africa's first Tommy Hilfiger. And right now, I'm struggling in my business. I need an investment of 5 million rands.
Okay.
And if there's someone out there who gets what we are trying to build, contact me.
Good. There you go. This is kind of like the Shark Tank, except I'm not a shark who can bite into that. Maybe you are. Speak to him. He's got a brilliant idea. Let's make this a huge success. We support you and thank you so much for coming into Morning Live. Always good seeing you. Sbu Ngwenya, entrepreneur and the owner of Skinny Sbu Socks. Let's take a break. We'll see you after this.
Got it right. Yeah.